Death and taxes, those two things always certain, but the fate of the death tax is not. The 45% inheritance tax was supposed to disappear next year, but a look at the fine print in President Obama's 2010 budget suggests the death tax is not going anywhere. That could mean the government still takes nearly half of your estate when you pass on, if your estate is of a certain size. Molly Henneberg, live in Washington. All right, Molly, let's get into that fine print. What does it say?
Hey, John, it says that the death tax, which was supposed to go away for a year, next year, maybe go away permanently, won't. It's a line in a footnote on page 127 of the president's budget that says, quote, the estate tax is maintained at its 2009 parameters, which means 45% of the wealth of a deceased person will go to the government for those who have estates over $3.5 million or $7 million per couple. John?
So the Republicans don't much like this, do they?
Well, Republicans were the ones that pushed through President Bush's tax policy in 2001 that lowered the death tax to 45% this year from 55% and then killed it altogether next year. Now they say President Obama's plan to maintain it during this difficult economic time is, quote, outrageous. Listen to this.
You know, American families, small businesses, family farms are the ones who get hit the most by this. And it's the most unfair tax there is. They've already paid taxes on this money when they made it. They paid capital gains taxes along the way. And here we are at death, and we're going to hit them again.
Congressman Boehner says it's, quote, un-American for a family to have to sell, for example, a family farm, just to pay death taxes.
Well, I guess even some of those in the president's inner circle were not exactly happy about the death tax. What are they saying?
At least in the past, they may or may not have been, I'm not sure if they were against it, but they at least acknowledged in the past that it prevented or stymied economic growth. Larry Summers, the president's top economic advisor, co-authored a study in 1980 looking at how capital, money, wealth was accumulated and grown. He writes in this report, quote, the evidence presented indicates that intergenerational transfers account for the vast majority of aggregate U.S. capital formation, meaning that it's the passing on of wealth from one generation to another that helps grow the U.S. economy, something the death tax obviously impedes. John?
All right, keep an eye on it for us. Molly Henneberg in Washington.